Welcome back, guys, to a new grammar class. This time we're going to have a review of first conditional. Please pay attention and let's begin. We use first conditional to talk about things which might happen in the future. Might happen means that this may happen or not. Of course, we can't know what will happen in the future, but this describes possible things which could easily come true. We are talking about the future. We are thinking about a particular condition or situation in the future and the result of this condition. Okay, remember that first conditional is about conditions and results. Let's continue. There's a real possibility that this condition will happen. For example, it's morning, you're at home, you plan to play tennis this afternoon, but there are some clouds in the sky. Imagine that it rains. What will you do? Okay, you have this. If it rains, I won't play tennis. If it doesn't rain, I will play tennis. The clouds in the sky doesn't mean that it will rain for sure. It's a possibility also. So, you have to pay attention when working with first conditional. Notice that we're thinking about a future condition. It's not raining yet, but the sky is cloudy, and you think that it could rain. That's what I said before. We use present simple to set the condition. We use future will to talk about the possible result. A basic structure could be like this. If plus condition plus possible result. If you eat too much cake, that's the condition. What will happen if you eat too much cake? Okay? You will have a stomachache. That's something that is possible to happen. Or it may not happen. Maybe you eat too much cake and nothing happens. But having a stomachache could be a real possibility when you eat too much cake. Sometimes, in conditional sentences, clauses can be switched from place, but the meaning's still the same. Okay, the clauses are the parts. The part of the condition is one clause, and the part of the result is another clause. Observe here. If plus condition plus possible result, that's the original form that I present you in the previous slide. And then you have this. Possible result plus if plus condition. This is the switched form. Okay? Notice how if, in this case, in the second form, it's in the middle, but it's still working with the condition. You cannot change if working with the possible result because that will not have sense. Observe these examples. If you eat too much cake, you will have a stomachache. That's the previous sentence. Now look at this. You will have a stomachache if you eat too much cake. Observe how if is still working with the condition part. It's the same meaning, but the sentence is switched. That's the only thing. Okay, now let's present a structure. If plus the subject plus the verb in present simple. That's the part of the condition. And the second clause, subject plus will or won't if it's negative or affirmative, and verb in present form. Here, observe that in present simple, you can also have a negative. You can say, if you don't eat too much cake, okay, that's also possible. We can have negatives and affirmatives in both clauses. Okay, let's continue reading. If you have good grades in the exam, you will go to the cinema on Friday. Here, both clauses are affirmative. Next example. If you do your homework on time, your mother will let you watch TV. Again, here both clauses are affirmative. Now let's check some examples with negative and affirmative combined. If you don't have good grades, You will pass the summer in extra classes. Here you have a negative in the condition and affirmative in the result. Let's have it the opposite. If you have good grades in the exam, you will not pass the summer in extra classes. Here you have affirmative in the condition and negative in the result. Now pay attention to this. If you don't have good grades, you will not go to the cinema on Friday. In this case, you have both clauses in negative form. Those are all the combinations you can do when working with first conditional. Notice how the subject in some clauses in the first conditional changes. It doesn't have to be the same always. You can change the subject depending on the condition you set and the result you like to have. In some conditions, the subject is you, and in the result, it's your mother, your father, your friends, or again, you. Okay, it all depends on the condition and the results you want to have.